Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160, ready to deliver 2 hours of radio superbity to entertain, inspire, and inform you of all the events from around town and the world and the country. And I just want everybody to know that you can go to my blog and my newsletter every single day, and you can scroll through there and read the news you need without links. It's nice and easy. We post headlines from not just the Enquirer and all the local television stations, but from news sites, websites, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, you name it. We summarize it all for you. And there is always, every single day, plenty to discuss, talk about. We are going to get to Newt Gingrich suspending his campaign. We're going to get to the Afghanistan trip, the surprise trip of Barack Obama, and as well as some things that are local, including some flood warnings, flash flooding, all the rain that hit the tri-state. I had my basement. I have a flood issue. It wasn't really a flood issue. It was a backed up sewer issue, and it wasn't that bad. It destroyed the carpet. The carpet had to be replaced. I can't fathom, and I'm representing some people, like, for example, over in Covington, I got that lawsuit where I'm representing a group of homeowners who have the SD1. They didn't kind of maintain their pipes the way they should be, and, just their entire basements flooded. The smell, the damage, the destruction of all the items, the cleanup, the mess. I don't think there's much worse that can happen to, I guess, a fire, but a flood. And so many people in the tri-state live near high water. I mean, you live near the river or one of the rivers or whatnot, a creek, rising water. And, if that's part of your life and you've always lived there, I know it's hard to get up and move. I still marvel that people still live in downtown Falmouth where that big flood hits. But that's your home. The other thing I want to just add, if I were to die today, you never know, if I were to drop over dead today, it is people out like at the Stone Center out at Richwood, Kentucky, that make my life feel complete. I mean, the Stone Center of Kentucky at Richwood, Kentucky yesterday, my wife used my truck, TC, and she drove out there and was getting the truck loaded up with lava rock for a garden that she was working on this patio in the side yard. And they used the high loader to load it up with this lava rock. Uh-huh. And she says, boy, I'm so nervous. My husband will kill me if I scratch the side of the truck. By the way, that's not really the case. I'm not, I'm not all about my vehicle at all.
Right.
But, of course, it has the logo on it.
Or you weren't too mad about that green water thing. So
No, but get this. The guy using the high loader says to her. Now, obviously, he sees the logo on the truck.
Right.
The guy from the Stone Center, Kentucky says, ma'am, I would never, ever do anything to hurt the Bulldog's truck. We listen to him every morning.
Nice. They're the ones.
Now,
right.
You hear something like that, so we're going to give Oracle status to the Stone Center, Kentucky, out at Richwood, and they listen to us every morning. And I'm not kidding you, TC. These celebrities that don't want to sign autographs and they get too big for their public,
yeah.
I do not get that at all. I mean, if one day I become as big as Rush Limbaugh, I will always be honored and get a kick out of a fan who gets a kick out of listening to me. I mean, it is an honor.
Well, signing the autographs isn't so bad, but when they start ripping at your clothes and, they just get in my space, it really gets annoying after a while.
You mean that's what's next? People are going to start taking...
You're going to have to hire bodyguards.
That offends you? That these are females, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I've not had that happen to me.
Can you imagine?
I just want all you ladies to know if there's somebody out there that wants to rip off my clothes, my email address.
Yeah, but you get tired of it quick, believe me.
And as always, we get some fan mail I like to share. Bulldog Nation member Larry says, please sign me up for the famous Bulldog newsletter.
All right.
How do you like that? Carlos, Bulldog member Carlos says this. So Paul Brown's stadium construction costs stopped getting reported when they approached $700 million and the job is not done. So the county spent 2.5 times the $400 million value of the stadium to build it. So would you hire Hamilton County to build an outhouse? I said, great point.
Be the most expensive outhouse in town.
Bulldog Nation member David kind of took me to task a little bit. He doesn't like anybody, and like the president, he blames Congress. And I responded to him, man, I pound away every day about Congress.
Right.
But thanks for listening, Bulldog Nation member David. And we got confirmation from Mad Brothers that the jersey, the Chiefs hockey jersey, is on the way, and I will show it off for my video cast very soon.
Really? Okay.
It's going to have Bulldog on it. I should have got TC. Well, it would have cost too much money. And I got these are so funny. Nancy Pelosi, because, I get these emails. And this subject matter is, this is inspiring. Your grassroots support is inspiring. I've been following the updates all day. Right. I think we're stupid.
Now, who is he writing this to? To you?
Supporters, yeah.
Oh.
We're now 221 gifts away from reaching 100,000.
Gifts.
Contribute that $3 before tonight's deadline. And I just got to make a comment.
Oh, wait, if you miss the deadline, they won't accept your money?
Right. I got to make a comment about the legal field. All day, they had an event out at the bank May 1st. I wasn't able. I'm too busy to make these things. And I got another event, and I really, 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 really like the executive director, Julie Jones of the Northern Kentucky Bar Association. But I got an invitation to a wine and bourbon tasting. And I'm thinking to myself, ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, if you want to know what's different about me than other lawyers, I don't golf, and I don't go to wine tastings. Now, I want to say this. For everybody out there that listens to me that likes wine tastings, I don't begrudge you. That's what makes America great. It's just that I am not going to go to a wine tasting.
That's better than going to the dentist.
I don't get it.
The old rinse and spit.
Do you get wine tastings?
You know what? I would go if I were invited or if I felt the need, but I don't see anything wrong with it. It might be kind of fun.
If you felt the need.
Yeah. I'm not doing anything this weekend. I think I'm going to go to the wine tasting.
I want to kick off our show, TC, by making everyone laugh. And
do that all the time.
Ladies, this joke is for you. A group of girlfriends is on vacation when they have a 5-story hotel. They stop by with a sign that reads, "For women only." Since they are without their boyfriends and husbands, they decide to go in. The bouncer, a very attractive guy, explains to them how it works. We have 5 floors, go up floor by floor, and once you find what you are looking for, you can stay there. It's easy to decide since each floor has a sign telling you what's inside. So they start going up, and on the first floor, the sign reads, "All the men on this floor are short and plain." The friends laugh and giggle, and without hesitation move on to floor number 2. The sign on the second floor reads, "All the men here are short and handsome." Still, that isn't good enough, so the friends continue on up to the 3rd floor. The 3rd floor sign reads, "All the men here are tall and plain." The ladies still want to do better, so knowing that there are only 2 floors left, they continue on up. The women reach the 4th floor, and the sign is perfect. "All the men here are tall and handsome." By the way, TC, what's wrong with short and handsome?
I don't know. Nothing at all.
Too short, guys.
Only short standing up.
All right. All men here are tall and handsome. Yeah, in a horizontal position, everybody's the same height.
Well, no, I didn't say that.
The women get all excited. All the men here are tall and handsome. And then they realize there's 1 floor left. So they're wondering, oh, my goodness, what are they missing on the top floor? If the 4th floor is tall and handsome, they got to go to the top floor. So the ladies move past the 4th floor and go onto the 5th floor. The door opens, and there's the sign that reads, "There are no men here. This floor was built only to prove that there is no way to please a woman."
Oh.
I mean, tall and handsome wasn't good enough for them, TC.
Right.
No, they had to go further.
Allow me to retort.
Yes.
I agree 100%. That is the best. Let me write that one down. I'm telling that one. Write that down.
And now, in the defense of the ladies, if they did that same thing with the women, like the women here are short and plain, the women here, and these women are hot and sexy.
Yeah.
There isn't a man alive that wouldn't have pushed the 5th floor, too.
That's true. Of course, you know what, though?
Because, go ahead.
We probably would have gone on every floor. we'd had to check
That
out,
is a very good point.
Let's say, okay, the women in this room are short and ugly. You'd look around and make sure your friends weren't watching, and then, you'd sneak in there real quick.
Today in history, in 1865, President Johnson offered $100,000 for the capture of Jefferson Davis. GM bought Chevrolet, and the Reds manager in 88 was suspended 7 games for pushing it up. Remember that?
Really?
He deserved to be pushed. When we come back, more Radio Superbity on Real Talk 1160.
And make sure you stick around for Bill O'Reilly's Talking Points coming up at 7:28 this morning on Real Talk 1160. And now, back to the Bulldog.
Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. The triumphant, the trifecta birthdays today are Kyle Busch, only 27. Brad says, oh, my God, that's right. He's only 27. David Beckham, 37. And by the way, his wife doesn't do anything for me. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, 40. Man, these guys are all young. The Rock. I like The Rock. Funny. Shakespeare for the day. A man loves the meat in his youth that he cannot endure in his age. That's funny stuff right there. I'm listening to Ron Chernow's book about George Washington on the way in today, and it cracks me up how they used to write letters to each other and how they would address them and end them. Your obedient and humble servant. Your assured and nice friend. Cracks me up. Pop culture today. Tyler Perry's studio in Atlanta has burnt to the ground. How do you like that? On fire. Insurance. No, I'm just joking. Let me see. Jessica Simpson has her baby, and she names the baby. This is a girl. She has a little girl, and she names her Maxwell Drew Johnson.
You said it was a girl?
I'm trying to figure this out. Are they going to call the baby Max? I think they're going to be calling the girl Max. What else would you call the little girl if you named the child Maxwell?
Sue.
TC, at the next break, you have to look up Paulina Gretzky. That's the 23-year-old daughter of Wayne, Paulina Gretzky. Apparently, she's been posting nearly nude photos of herself on social media sites, and they're getting out online.
Ooh.
TC, you need to check that out.
I certainly do.
Let me see here. Mike Wallace stole an interview in 1997 of Chris Rock from Chris Wallace's son. And when asked who was most important, apparently Chris Wallace paused and said, I'm thinking. Man, that's a guy. And get this, you talk about branding. Little Richard Branson on the Virgin Atlantic flights, the ice cubes. Are you listening out there, Chuck, Molly, Brad, and team? The ice cubes are going to be made of the likeness and face and head of Richard Branson. That is branding. Donald Trump will copy that. The ice cubes, we need a little Bulldog's ice cubes if we ever get back in the restaurant and bar business. Maybe that's why Bulldogs at the Levee failed, is there weren't ice cubes in the likeness of yours truly. It's called bald ice.
Be an awfully cold place to keep those.
And I have very disheartening news to report, ladies and gentlemen of the American jury. Urkel got voted off, and it's not fair, and I want to sue.
No.
I say we sue, get injunctive relief, and force them to pick our guy. The Bulldog Nation picked Urkel.
Yeah.
He was our man, and we decided to get behind with Dancing with the Stars, and he was sent home.
Was he suspended or actually sent home?
Jaleel White, a.k.a. Urkel. Well, it's funny that he is suspending, and we're going to talk about this in a minute. He is suspending his Dancing with the Stars. Jeez, old Pete. By the way, I got an update on my situation in Kentucky, which is good news.
Yeah.
Any day now I can get an order from the Supreme Court and be back in action. But even if that does not happen, the committee that I have to get before because of this stupid bar council jackwagon named Jay Garrett is May 15th. So only 2 weeks from now, I will get before the committee that I need to get to if the Supreme Court doesn't go ahead and rule, which I'm still very confident it's going to happen any day. But you know what?
What's that?
In the honor of Jessica Simpson, who had her baby, we have a special feel-good song, which is a classic. And I gave the boys here the opportunity, Baba O'Reilly or Squeeze Box. And they chose Squeeze Box. Your feel-good song of the day by The Who. A classic that will make you laugh. This is about an accordion. An accordion. Like Uncle Al used to play. Does your mama have an accordion? She plays it all night. That's what Homer Simpson says. Oh. By the way, we got some Bulldog Nation members say that there's ways to please women.
On
money.
The 6th floor, yeah. The guy with the bank account.
Money. Shopping. Kidwood Mall. The accordion.
Right.
Accordion. Can you say metaphor?
Metaphorically speaking, of course.
This is for Jessica Simpson. You know, TC, it was funny. Yesterday I go into Walgreens at 4:30 to get some passport photos taken. And on the music was the breakup song by the Greg Kiln Band.
Yesterday's feel-good song.
I couldn't believe it. And that was in my
saw
head
your text this morning, I
all
laughed.
day long. This is going to be in everybody's head, too, today. You know it is, folks. We mind mess you every day. We put the music in your head with just one song. Can you imagine what we could do if we played music all day?
Yeah. Get in a lot more trouble.
This sounds like the Beverly Hillbillies, doesn't it?
You know, it's amazing how you hear a song when you're a kid, and then you hear it as an adult. It has a totally different meaning.
Yep.
I thought that song was about singing.
I like Chris Smitherman.
Yeah.
I know Chris Smitherman. Chris Smitherman's a friend of mine. I will always be grateful for Chris Smitherman, but I have a disagreement with Chris Smitherman. He wants all cell phones and cameras banned from the Hamilton County Courthouse because he believes they're used to intimidate witnesses, take pictures, scare them. You know what? Just because you've got some criminals that abuse these cell phones, I'm sorry, when I'm in the Hamilton County Courthouse, I do not want to give up my cell phone.
Well, you live by your cell phone.
I live by my cell phone.
That's your mobile office.
I will die by my cell phone.
But think about it, though. He's got a point there. You've seen those mafia movies. You know what he's talking about.
Mafia. There's no mafia. The mafia doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. I know. You're right. It doesn't.
Fairfield Township, and some more local news, they fired longtime Chief David Downey. 5 disciplinary charges they brought up on him while he was doing honor flight, taking World War II vets to D.C. Can you say that will be an election issue in Fairfield Township? Yes. And how about this? FBI agents arrested 5 people for conspiring to blow up a bridge near Cleveland. I'm surprised that doesn't happen more often. I mean, who's watching the bridges? Nobody. When we come back, more radio superbity. That song's in your head, isn't it? Squeeze Box. She wears on her chest. When Daddy comes home, he never gets no rest. On Real Talk 1160. Cowboy, baby. This is the Bulldog. Eric Deters on Real Talk 1160. Donna Mae Harridge is 32 of Fort Lauderdale. Had a bad day yesterday.
What happened?
No matter what happened to you, this was probably a worse day. She was stopped in Warren County on a traffic stop, and she just happened to have $420,000 worth of cocaine with her.
Whoa.
I'm not trafficking. That's my own personal use. I have a bad habit.
Very bad.
Your Honor.
Wow.
21 years in prison. $42,500 fine she faces. But you know the first question that she's going to be asked by law enforcement, and her defense attorney is going to go, cooperate. Call me Donna Mae. It's going to be this. Where'd you get this from?
In my backyard. I found it.
Glendale Village is warning. They're warning about coyote attacks on small pets. Not like on people. They're more scared of you than we are of them.
Where in the world did coyotes, how did they make their way over into Glendale?
I have no idea. But all I know is this. I do not want to get attacked by a coyote unless it's Wile E. Coyote because he always loses. NKU is increasing their tuition $384 per year. I say this. Their campus is so beautiful now, and it's got so many additions. The informatics that the Griffins donated, the Bank of Kentucky Arena, I say raise it.
I say hit the alumni.
I'm just teasing.
Call the alumni.
I'm against any increased fees. And going into sports, the Reds last night got rained out.
Well, they didn't look bad at all, did they?
No. Tonight we got Homer Bailey. He's going to try to do his thing. In NBA playoffs, the Lakers beat the Nuggets, lead 2-0. The Celtics beat the Hawks, series tied. The 76ers and Bulls are even now. Derrick Rose is out. See ya, Bulls. The Devils beat the Flyers to tie up the series. That's good. The Butler Bulldogs are going to join the Atlantic 10. How do you like that? Moving on up to the east side, and they're called the Bulldogs. The Spurs Greg Popovich, NBA Coach of the Year. Andy Pettit testified in the Clemens trial, and he says, Roger mentioned to me that he took it, and of course, Clemens says he misremembered. Pettit misremembered.
Misremembered, huh?
That's a new term in law. You misremembered.
Is that like misunderestimating?
Yes. Frank McCourt, the deal was closed, and of course, the Dodgers are doing great.
Yeah.
Here's some fun Derby facts for you.
$2 billion?
$2 billion. The 1970 first female jockey, Diana Crump, competed in the Derby. No Derby horse has ever won from post position 15. You know, if you get 15, you say, no. I don't want number 15. I don't want number 15. And you know what? This may or may not be sports related, but a couple observations. John Edwards' trial. They've been cross-examining Andrew Young's wife. And I've been thinking about this whole thing with Andrew Young and John Edwards. And, let me just tell you, John Edwards really screwed up. He knew Andrew Young had him. He had he was his buddy, this inside information. I didn't realize, TC, but the way this all went down is Andrew Young didn't go to the authorities. He didn't blow the whistle or anything else.
Yeah.
John Edwards just out of the blue stopped taking Andrew Young's calls.
Oh.
Knock, knock, dumb. You know what? If I'm John Edwards, every time Andrew Young called me, I'm taking his call.
Yeah.
I'm keeping the guy close to me. I'm keeping him nice. Are you kidding me?
Hey, man, what's going on? You need anything? What can I do for you?
I mean, you don't all of a sudden shut down somebody who's got the goods.
Right.
I mean, God, what a jackwagon. And, this was common knowledge. Jimmy Johnson, when he was the coach of the Dallas Cowboys, he always talked about how he had favorites. He basically said Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, and Emmitt Smith get treated differently than everybody else. Yeah. Sparky Anderson made reference to, Tony Perez, Johnny Bench, Pete Rose, and Joe Morgan were his stars. Everybody else, he used the T word for him.
The T word?
The T word, turds. I think I'm allowed to say on FCC. I'm not kidding you. He actually used that word, okay?
Wow.
Now, I just want to tell everybody, I have a law office, okay? And I have a bunch of lawyers that work for me. 2 lawyers stand out because they work like I do almost. Charlie Lester hardly ever sleeps. And we just saw Jim Moore down the hall. Brad Hampshire went over and talked to him. Jim Moore has been here. He came on the radio yesterday, just past the Indiana bar. He has not slept since he was on the radio. He stayed up all night working on a brief that's due, and then he's heading off to court on a criminal case. And I just want to tell everybody listening to me in my office, yes, Charlie Lester and Jim Moore are my favorites because they work like I do. And all the rest of you lawyers, why don't you emulate them?
You know, there are a couple on my staff that really stand out amongst the others. I mean, I'm sure they would if I had a staff.
TC, does anybody on your staff stay up all night emulating you?
If I had a staff, I'm sure somebody would.
And I told Jim, I said, now, Jim, you know, it's okay when you work the hours like we do. Don't feel bad about going home in the middle of the day and taking a nap.
Now, see, if they were emulating me, they'd have to stay up all night sleeping.
But I'm just telling all the rest of them, man, you know, you ought to learn a little bit from Charlie and Jim. Staying up all night like the Bulldog.
They lead by example.
Let me see. Obama yesterday made a surprise trip. And by the way, this is hilarious. He signs a deal with Karzai. You know, we're going to have some troops there. 2024. You know these little games they play that, you know, beginning in 2013, we're going to start transferring troops out. We have 88,000 troops there now. You know, this is a bunch of baloney, TC.
So they're going to keep...
We're going to have troops there through 2024, the number of which yet to be determined.
See, that's... You know, when they made this surprise announcement that the president is going to Afghanistan, I thought this may be he was thinking the other day, well, the little thing about bin Laden didn't work. Let me try this political move. I'm going to go there and bring, 100,000 troops home next Tuesday. I thought he was going to do something like that. But another 10 years is not helping his reelection.
It's not going to help him at all.
You know?
And then there's this discussion about whether the trip was good. They interviewed John McCain. Well, I think it was good for him to go there on the anniversary of bin Laden's death. You know, John McCain admitted yesterday. I saw him on Fox. He goes, "Oh, I would have attacked him a little harder if I had to run again." Remember him? All this information he had about Jeremiah Wright, and John McCain goes, "That's not the kind of campaign I'm going to run." It's like running against. And I hate to use. I'm only using this reference because it's an extreme reference that everybody gets. Whether you're running against Charlie Manson, Adolf Hitler, or Stalin. It's like running against, now don't get me wrong, Obama's not any of them. But just to use an example, can you imagine running against Charlie Manson for mayor of Los Angeles and saying, I'm not going to bring up Charlie's past. You know, I'm not going to do that. Or you're running against Hitler, you know, those ovens and things. You know, I just don't want to be a negative campaign. Stalin, you know, the fact that he killed all of his people and sent them to Siberia, I'm not going to bring. Come on!
Right. Well, you know, there is a little bit of nobility in trying to run on your merits rather than it was a weak campaign. But
I just thought of something. It was, well, like in Ohio, I know that guy that I'm not allowed to mention from, you know, he told me that the Hamilton County Republican Party was aggravated as can be because it was like nobody was coordinating between the McCain campaign and the Republicans. It was like there was no ground game at all.
Really?
In Ohio. That's not going to repeat itself. In fact, I read in the Wall Street Journal where Romney's going to basically run governor campaigns in each of these states, coordinating with the Republican Party, his campaign. Let's coordinate. And that's really smart. But, you know, seriously, now, I think this is something that nobody's going to mind. Just imagine if Charlie Manson ran for public office. He got pardoned, and he ran for office.
You might get a vote or
and
two.
Somebody not bringing up his past. I don't want to do that to Charlie. I mean, this sick, messed up killer.
If you're ever going to throw mud,
you throw mud.
Throw it now.
And speaking of Republican Party unity, this is so funny. Herman Cain was on Hannity last night, and he said him and his chief of his campaign met with Romney and the chief of his campaign, and they're planning a unity dinner and a unity tour. Oh, my God. You know, Romney, they're going to say, hey, Herman, stay away from the women on the unity tour, okay? You're not allowed to be with the women. Hey, make sure somebody's watching Herman. We don't want Herman. And then there's going to be Newt, you know. Hey, can somebody push the burgers away from Newt, the fries? We can't have Newt. You know, Santorum, can somebody get this goddamn sweater the sweater vest away from. We got to get the sweater vest away. We don't want the sweater vest.
Get men away from the cheesy grits.
I mean, it's going to be hilarious. The unity tour, and of course, Ron Paul. He's not going to be invited because he's still running. You know, the Scooby Doo. You pull the hood off. You know, so Ron Paul's going to be over there. Who else have I forgotten? Michelle Bachmann. Oh my goodness. Michelle Bachmann will be on the tour. We got to have separate corners for Michelle. She's a woman. It's going to mess up everything.
Yeah, it is.
What's his, Perry? Perry's got to stay in Texas. Let's keep him in Texas because he's not going to remember anything. We come back, more Radio Superbity on Real Talk 1160.
Remember, if you can't be around the radio when you got to get to work at 8 o'clock, you can turn on your computer and listen to us live online. Go to realtalk1160.com, click on Listen Live, and you can also use your TuneIn Radio app on your iPhone or Android. And now, back to the Bulldog.
Eric Deters, the Bulldog on Real Talk 1160. Yesterday was May Day, May 1st. It was also Law Day. I think it's funny also that it was Occupier Seize the Day to protest everywhere in New York. Rage Against the Machine guitarist showed up and played the guitar with anybody there that wanted, hey, let's get together and let's play the guitar. TC was seen running to the airport to get there in time with his guitar. And now I know what TC does when he invites the ladies over. He goes, can I play you some guitar?
Let me play a little song for you.
Peaches and Herb.
There you go. You know what? I like to mess around. I've got a little keyboard. I've got my drums, and that's my little world.
By the way, I'm only going to say this because he's not listening because I don't want to make it worse.
Uh-oh.
You know, my stepson, his girlfriend and him broke up. And then it looked like the last 2 days they were getting back together. Well, now I understand it's broken up again. I was going to play Peaches and Herb Reunited for him.
That's so
Reunited.
cute.
The first girlfriend I ever had, we broke up and got back together. That song came out the same time. I thought it was like a how should I say it? I thought it was like a message, an omen.
It was a sign,
a good omen. And we still have never officially broke up. So even though I've been married to 2 different women and she's married and lives out of town, we're still actually going together because we never really officially broke up.
Uh-oh. Yeah, see, that's going to come up when you hit the campaign trail.
Yeah. By the way, we were talking, Brad and TC and I, before the show today, and that when we run for president, and of course I'm running for 2020, at the announcement party, we're just going to go ahead and say, all right, here are all the bad things I've done in my life. And we're just going to do a laundry list. The list is going to be long. A really long list that we're going to publicly disclose and say, okay, I don't have to worry about getting blindsided by anything. There you have it. Now, I know the list is long, but at least I'm coming out now with it. No, I'm not going to give their names. That would be unseemly. We agreed on that. It would be unseemly to give names.
Right.
Just say, hey, okay, I've done some bad things.
And we want to cut down on the campaign time this year.
Yes.
In 2020.
I'd like to get some feedback on that. 513-579-1160. Even if they did bad things, but they didn't kill anybody, would you be more or less likely to vote for a candidate that told all of their dirt before the campaign even got started? Just think if Herman would have came out and said, I groped Angela, I groped Lisa, I groped Mary Lou, I groped. Just go through the list.
Yeah, just go to my Facebook.
I didn't force myself on them. I just touched them. They said, get off. I did. And what man doesn't take a swing? It's like, okay, I'm going to take a swing, and you strike out. You okay, all right.
Like me on Facebook.
Would you like to? No. Okay, all right.
Just go to my website, here'swhatidid.com.
TC, do you know how bad it is?
How bad is it?
This is how bad it is. What officers thought was a counterfeit $50 bill turned out to be an old legitimate bill, but the truth wasn't discovered until a man was mistakenly charged and jailed Friday. This happened the other day to somebody that wanted green water. They accused him of trying to resell counterfeit green water.
We can't have that.
A clerk at Quick Mart, South Cannon Boulevard, notified police after the marker used to detect didn't check his reel. I hate when I use a $50 bill or $100 bill and they hold it up to the light or they take that little secret marker. The front side of the bill was off center and it didn't feel like a normal bill. Well, maybe because it went through the wash. It did look to be counterfeit, said Officer Brock Horner. Brock Horner. What kind of a cop name is that, Brock Horner? Sounds like a porn star. Hi, Brock Horner. Truth discovered. After Lorenzo Gaspar was jailed, Horner showed the bill to Sergeant Bill Oak. Hey, look, man, here, Bill. The Shelbyville Police Department's evidence technician who told him that old legitimate bills wouldn't check with the marker they were using. Good job, Bill Logue. Horner took the bill to 2 banks where it was determined real but very old. Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury, don't use those old $50 bills.
Well, wait a minute. How old was it really?
He was down. This story doesn't say. The judicial commissioner had Jaspar released from jail, and Horner apologized for the arrest. I'm sorry, man. But guess what, folks? No lawsuit. Immunity for negligence.
No. I bet you that thing's probably, if you have some a historian take a look at it, they'll say, wow, this thing's worth about $50 million.
How come I'm getting all these text messages from people saying, will you leave me off that list, Bulldog? I don't know what. Well, hey, by the way,
that list.
I have been told that those people on that have been talking about me, but I ain't allowed to talk about them.
That's good.
And by the way, I want to tell you what this rule is. It's only TC's rule. I'm using the TC rule. TC says, hey, man, I'm an old-time radio guy. You ain't allowed to mention other people.
You don't do that. You just can't. You know something? You just don't do it. Just can't.
How do you like this? This is from Chris Matthews, and he likens Obama to Henry V, which I'll tell you about him in a minute. I imagine being a soldier out there. This is what you want to hear. Well, that's great stuff. I was so proud of the president there, I must say. This has nothing to do with partisanship. This is about the commander-in-chief meeting with the troops. I want to throw up. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, anything Barack Obama does between now and November, politics. Politics. Now, there might be a dual role to it, but politics.
But he has no choice, doesn't? I mean, really.
I don't know.
What's he going to do?
I just don't like him.
I know.
Gallup poll. Obama and Romney are currently tied at 46%.
Is that right?
Which is a good sign for Romney, because if you're tied at this point with a sitting president, that's not bad. I mean, Bill Clinton was like way behind George Bush #1 at some point in time. Now there's people wanting to get on the list. By the way, I'm just making all this up, folks.
These are all jokes.
Isn't that funny, though?
That'd be great.
That was pretty funny. Bulldog, I want to be on your list.
Take me off. Take me off. I'm married now. Take me off. He doesn't know about that. How many of those did you get?
I've only kissed 2 women. I've been married twice. Well, I kissed my girlfriend. Right. My first girlfriend, I kissed her, too.
All right.
3 times.
Okay.
3 times. Obama accuses... How come you guys don't believe that? Obama accuses Romney of exporting U.S. jobs. Get this. It's just what you'd expect from a guy who has a Swiss bank account, the new 30-second television ad. It says, Mr. Romney moved state jobs to a call center in India when he was Massachusetts governor, and American jobs to Mexico and China when he was a corporate CEO. I mean, come on!
Yeah, see, I bet that was Bain, wasn't it?
Now, I got to ask you a question. Yeah, TC. I wonder how many rich people who've given to Obama, like these rich Democrats in New York, I wonder how many of them have a Swiss bank account.
Oh, yeah. If I had cash, a lot of it would be over there in Switzerland, keeping an eye on the chocolate.
I think we can agree, TC.
Yeah.
The Republicans and the Democrats, and when they campaign, they do these commercials, it's all a bunch of hypocrisy.
It is. It is. I mean,
it is all a bunch of hypocrisy.
Don't we all want to be wealthy?
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not mad at you, Mitt, okay? I share the wealth, okay? That's fine.
Would you turn down a $250 million balance sheet?
Well, I'd have to give that some serious thought. Are you kidding me? But now I can understand there might be a problem, though, with like sending these jobs, outsourcing these jobs. That bothers me. The richness, hey, man, more power to you.
Listen to this. Hey, Kane. This is from Bob from Aurora, our good buddy. Hey, Kane, you going to support Romney? Kane, 999, will Romney beat Obama? Kane, 999, do you still deny having girlfriends? Jeez.
Let's leave that man alone.
I don't know if I really get that, but I think it's funny.
You know what? We have to do something.
By the way, Herman Cain has come out with a book. Guess what it's called?
I am Cain. I'm here to help you.
999.
Whoa! Never. How did he come up with that?
And I got a question. How do you write an entire book about 999?
Well, it only took him a month.
I have to admit, it's been a long time since I heard Herman Cain do an interview, and I was for Herman, and I still wish Herman would have been the nominee.
Yeah.
But listening to him, man, I just wanted to turn it off. I was like, Herman, go away.
You're turning it. You almost had me convinced to vote for Herman Cain.
I mean, it's just time. A unity tour. I don't want to see Michelle Bachmann and Rick Perry. And, oh, my God, John Huntsman.
Are you kidding me? We can relive all those great memories of
John. Send John to China on the Unity tour. When we come back, it's Newt time. And let's play the feel-good song again. Let's stick it in their heads.
All right.
On Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160.
Man, what is going on with you?
TC's just...
You're in the news. You're just cracking up over there. Listen.
I've just been sitting here laughing. My mind's been wandering with all these crazy thoughts and ideas. And, And as a lawyer, I'm able to rationalize things, spin things.
Right.
I'm able to, comparative analysis of anything. And, suspending your campaign is almost like breaking up with your supporters.
It's not you. I just need some time.
And what happens is they never say, my campaign is over. We were joking before the show, they suspend their campaign. Like it's going to come back. Did Herman Cain's campaign ever come back from its suspension?
Well, I'm back, you guys. That's why I take a little time off.
Has anybody ever suspended their campaign? Hey, I'm coming back in the game.
Hey, Mitt can have some of those delegates. Get some of those primaries back.
And before we get to Newt, and I got a Michelle Obama commentary too, we want to just share with the ladies and gentlemen of the American jury the feel-good song once again. Just a little bit of it, because if you did not listen to us the first hour, we like to mess with your mind. We want to put the songs in your head that you're stuck with all day. Like yesterday, I know you had the This is the Who, the Squeeze Box.
These are subliminal messages we're sending.
Yes.
Drink green water.
This is going to stay in your head all day.
Green water.
Drink lots of green water.
Available at Queen King.
Pour green water on your squeeze box.
It'll melt.
The accordion will still play. This is about an accordion. Accordion.
According to these guys, it is.
Accordion. Uncle Al. Yes, it's going into your head. The subliminal messages.
Yeah.
But we were joking about, my stepson, they break up, they get back together, they break up. Kind of reminds me of the good old days. But I want to share with you,
the good old days.
Like when you broke up with a girlfriend, you got back together, broke up. But I just wanted to say this. It's a bad day, if you go home, trouble is if your girlfriend or your wife has breakup songs on their iPhone. And this is one that if your wife or your girlfriend is humming or playing really loud on their iPhone and dancing, you know that you're in trouble.
Yeah, check the playlist on their iPod.
Yes. They weren't a one-hit wonder. They were a two-hit wonder. This is Greg Kilband, Jeopardy. I got a great story to share with you about this song.
What about the time you met Greg Kinn?
Yes, I met Greg Kinn. No, true. This was in the 80s. When I turned 21, a place I used to hang out is the Conservatory down in Covington. And I used to request this song because I liked to dance to it. And I would dance over the whole floor like an obnoxious guy.
Like what we don't want to put on the podcast, right?
Correct.
Okay.
If anybody has any video footage of that, I'd like to see it.
We'd like to edit it.
I loves in Jeopardy, baby.
It's worth a little money, though.
Yeah, you might be in trouble if your wife or girlfriend is playing Greg Kilband Jeopardy.
Or if your campaign manager is playing that song.
That is correct. Now let's get right to the important news of the day. Enough frivolousness.
Frivolity. I like
frivolity. There you go.
Own it. It's your word.
That's a great word. I can't say it. Whenever I hear, hey, TC, what's that word?
Frivolity.
Thank you, TC. Gingrich is ready to suspend his campaign today.
Really? I don't understand why.
In an interview with USA Today, he will embrace. They're going to hug. I mean, you know what? Can Newt hug anybody?
Man love.
Is he big enough? I mean, will embrace Mitt Romney's campaign and is ready to campaign for his former rival? He goes, all those things I said about Mitt, I didn't mean.
Now, which is bigger, Newt or Mitt's campaign?
Yeah, I didn't mean it, that Mitt. Come on, I was just joking.
Yeah, I was just having some fun with you.
And I'll talk to Rick Santorum. He's a little uptight.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
The Romney campaign and the Republican National Committee have offered to help as Gingrich works to retire his campaign debt. Hey, Newt, come over here and we'll pay off your $4 million.
Yeah, you are in debt.
Rick Santorum's going to see this, and he's got $2 million. Oh, guys, I'm in, guys. I want to be. No, Rick, we don't need you anymore. You had your chance.
That's what Newt wants. He wants him to pay off his debts. And I'll give you my endorsement.
And Ron Paul's going to say, I don't have any debts.
But do you really want Newt's endorsement?
Hey, you know what? I kind of bashed Jimmy Kimmel because I think the Lincoln joke was inappropriate, but I have to say this. Ron Paul is never going to shake Scooby-Doo. I mean, I can't think of Ron Paul without thinking Scooby-Doo now.
Zoinks!
Herman Cain met with Romney last week and claims there's some unity tours planned.
Unity tours.
Herman, stay away from the women. No problem, Mitt. I would never do anything to shame you.
Everybody's going to show up except for Axl Rose.
Axl Rose is not going to be on the unity tour. He's boycotting the unity tour. Now, this is another great story about politics. You know, you got to love these stories. Jon Stewart has the easiest job in the world to satire what's going on in politics.
The most fun job.
Absolutely. And we try to do a little bit of that on the radio. We don't have video cheat sheets and aids because we're on the radio.
We make it up as we go along.
But here we go. Michelle Obama went out to Las Vegas where she it's called the Spring Preserve, and they had $2,500 each, and they raised $300,000. And
Arab Spring Preserve.
And she was there, and she goes, "I'm not going to kid you. This journey is going to be long." God, I hate when they say the journey, and it's going to be hard, and there are going to be plenty of twists and turns along the way. Now, this is the punchline. That's how change always happens in this country. The reality is, real change is slow, and it never happens at once. So all that hope and change that they advocated, they're now going. And now their new campaign slogan is forward, but slow. So change is slow, and we're going to move forward slow.
Well, then we must be in the middle of a whole lot of big change.
Slowly.
Because it is very slow.
All change is slow.
We go back a couple stories here.
Sure.
Mr. Newt.
Mr. Newt.
On Monday, Mr. Newt announced that on Wednesday he was going to announce that he was suspending his campaign. Okay? Is that not the biggest non-news story today?
Yes, it is.
It's like, we knew Monday, Newt. Why didn't you just say, well, you guys, this is it. I'm in debt $4 million. Why push the next 2 days? I got to pay somebody.
And he hasn't been campaigning, and he says that it's about learning about America, like the Penske tour where he got to learn about cars. You know what, Newt? You don't have to run for president to study up on a car.
There's a place called the library where you can learn about America, and it doesn't cost you $4 million.
Hey, here's another thing is, too. I think we've all traveled a little bit. I mean, I've not been into every state, but I think I've been almost every state sometime or the other. Man. And I want to tell you something. It just seems, I haven't been to North Dakota and South Dakota. But let me just share something with you. Do you need to go to North Dakota and South Dakota to kind of have a feel for it? No.
For your life to be fulfilled.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I know it's probably cold. They grow wheat, winter wheat, summer wheat. Yeah. I know that there's a boom going on in North Dakota. South Dakota's got Mount Rushmore. I mean, come on.
Does it have a beach?
It's not the same unless you go there and campaign.
Does it have a beach?
No, not in North Dakota and South Dakota. I think Montana has a beach.
Really?
Yeah.
I must go see that.
Some lake in Yellowstone. The Yellowstone Beach. Here's some more bad news for, when you break it down in like different categories, Obama is having a real problem with white blue-collar workers. Okay. Their support has dropped off. He's had a real drop-off in the Catholic voters that voted for him. Then you start putting, politics is about building coalitions. Here's another coalition. The latest survey of Jewish Americans, according to the Washington Free Beacon, conducted March 14th through 27th, Barack Obama leading Mitt Romney by a 61-28% margin among Jewish voters, which has always been a traditional Democratic voters. But Obama in 2008, it was 78-21. So that gap has closed by, 55. It's closed by over 10 points. You think about it in a close election, that's a big deal. The other thing I got to say, based upon how he's treated Israel, how come it's only 61-28? I mean, what does Obama got to do to? It's kind of gets like the African American vote. No matter what he does, he's not going to lose the vote. Unemployment in the African American community has gone through the roof under Obama, and it doesn't make any difference. Richard Grinnell, the openly gay spokesman recently hired to sharpen the foreign policy message of Mitt Romney, resigned in the wake of anti-gay conservative pressure. Oh, well. And apparently Mitt Romney says, I'll close those Swiss bank accounts. When we come back, more Radio Superbity on Real Talk 1160.
And we're just 10 minutes away from the Huckabee Report. Mike Huckabee coming up at 8:30 on Real Talk 1160. And now, back to the Bulldog.
Keep that song going, baby.
That's a great tune.
Love this song. We'll make this a feel-good one day.
Yeah. Somebody's upset.
The eyes, the window of the soul.
Yeah.
As Shakespeare said. I want to express my condolences to the Westerman family. Bill Westerman, 62, from Independence. He was a religion teacher at Holy Cross High School. He was inducted into the Northern Kentucky Sports Hall of Fame. Was a very accomplished musician and drummer. He actually was one of the founders of the Independent Soccer Club. Really good guy. I'm close to some of his family members. His brother-in-law, David Drake, and his sister, Kathy Drake, are very dear friends of mine. And I just want to give out, all the best to the Westerman family for the passing of Bill. It's always too young. 62 is too young, TC.
Yeah.
He's too young. All right. Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, I've got a story about the Fed officials talking about a fiscal cliff, Obama's trip to Afghanistan. I got a story about CNN. But, I also need to point out that John Bick from Robke Automotive maintains he was at the conservatory all the time and does not remember an obnoxious, short white guy dressed in silk shirt dancing around on the dance floor.
And he would remember
that.
Man,
the conservatory was awesome, man. My godfather, Larry Grouse, founded the place.
Oh, is that right?
And then Tommy Beale ran it. But they had a nice place to eat dinner, then a nice place to party.
Nice.
You know what? I never got lucky. I went to all these. That's when I decided, heck with, I'd rather have a girlfriend than go down to the conservatory.
It was the dancing. That's what did it.
I think my dancing kill me. But, ladies and gentlemen, we are blessed once again, or cursed, depending on how you look at this guy, from Glenn from Mason. Glenn, you're on Real Talk 1160. The floor is all yours.
What's going on, Eric? How you doing, man?
I'm just having a good time this morning.
Let me ask you, Eric, that 10-point percentage that you say that Mitt Romney might be able to make up because of the Jewish vote has gone down for Obama. Where can he make that up in any other demographic group, especially given that the Republican Party, like I told you before, has pretty much become a regional Southern party? I can't think of any other minority group or any other gender or group or organization that might want to vote Republican. Can you give me one? And two, you talked about earlier in the show, you talked about John McCain and him not willing.
1, 2. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Did I interrupt you?
No, go ahead.
Oh, you talked about John McCain and his willingness not to go after Jeremiah Wright. Isn't it safe to say the only people that don't know about Jeremiah Wright are the same people that don't know about the O.J. trial? I mean, what more could be said? Don't you remember the famous race speech in Philadelphia? That was a national speech. That was about Jeremiah Wright specifically. So what more could be said that you think would have helped out John McCain and Sarah Palin?
All right. I will take them in the order that you presented them. First of all, the Republican Party is not just a Southern party. If you look at the red and blue map, you will see that the West is very much Republican, as well as the Midwest. So I respectfully disagree with you that it is a Southern party. Also, the areas of, this should be a concern of Barack Obama. He's losing Catholic vote, he's losing Jewish vote, and he's losing white blue-collar worker vote, which is the kind of the Reagan Democrat vote that Reagan picked up. And that means that he's got a problem with the working man that he didn't have before.
But don't Republicans have a problem that they can't get the women's vote? And with all due respect, and because
Romney can get Romney can. Santorum wasn't going to get, but the women like Romney.
Well, actually, they don't. Barack Obama leading by as much as the Jewish vote.
The ladies like Mitt because he's rich.
No, the ladies don't like Mitt because of his party
and he's handsome.
Some of the bills that are and laws that are being passed in state legislatures.
I heard he's getting love letters every day from women.
I never
Emails,
heard that, but then again,
it's been reported.
Well, yeah, on Fox News, no doubt.
They're mailing in their underwear and stuff.
But again, let's get back to the point, because I continue to hear this from those on the extreme right, like yourself and other Tea Party types, and you love to try to play this game. Well, John McCain really didn't go after Barack Obama with Jeremiah Wright, and I want to know what more could be said that hasn't been said. I mean, isn't the truth is that
what everything was said about Jeremiah Wright? The difference was it was being said by everybody but the candidate. In other words, sure, everybody was bashing Obama about Jeremiah Wright, but John McCain, the candidate, didn't do it.
So let me ask you. So instead of Sarah Palin trying to play Barack Obama's been palling around with terrorists, as if that wasn't an effective GOP slogan. Well, actually, it was ineffective because they lost. They should have said more about Jeremiah Wright. Is that what you're trying to suggest? We all know that the William Ayers line didn't work because Barack Obama.
I heard William Ayers has joined the occupiers in protest in Chicago. I think Chicago ought to be put on, what color is it? It's moderate?
Green.
Green. It ought to be put on green color for terrorist attack.
Well, let me.
And by the way, Bulldog Nation member Denise says she likes Mitt.
So what? If William Ayers should be put on green for terrorist attack, what should you do with Ted Nugent?
The women of Bulldog Nation.
What should you do with
the women of Bulldog Nation like Mitt? Don't you, ladies?
I'm going to call him LL Cool Mitt. Ladies love Cool Mitt.
LL Cool Mitt. Prankster, you're on Real Talk 1160.
Yes, I have a message for Glenn.
Deliver it, please.
Lieutenant Colonel Allen West is what I call a man. What I call
a manly man
is a bad president. And from what I hear about Glenn's calling people teabaggers, some other stations, I'd like to know how he knows about teabagging. And Glenn, you have no respect for people. God bless you, Bulldog, for toning him down, because he sure toned down on your station. You got him scared.
Well, I just want to tell you, Prankster, that he's called me in the last 2 days a teabagger, extreme right-winger. I think he used the word clown yesterday.
I haven't heard you for a couple of days. So he's been calling you a clown and teabag. I'd like to know how these people know about this term teabagging. I never heard of it before.
I don't know what it is. And then, do you know what it is, TC?
I'm sure TC doesn't know. But I would like to see somebody like Lieutenant Colonel Allen West for president, Glenn. But I guess Glenn wouldn't want a great American like Lieutenant Colonel Allen.
Prankster, do you have a wife or a girlfriend or both?
That's a little personal. If you want to talk to me...
No, I wanted to ask you, what I wanted to ask you, Prankster. What I wanted to ask you,
that's a politician's answer.
Prankster, what I wanted to ask you, buddy, is does your wife and or girlfriend like Mitt Romney? I wasn't going to ask you anything personal. I was going to say, do they like Mitt Romney? Because Glenn says the ladies, man, that they do not like Mitt.
See, what you have is this little filter. I believe this is correct, okay? It's, your coffee, they have these tea leaves, and you kind of grind them up really fine, and you put them inside of this filter and make it like a little, almost like looks like a tiny little bag, and you put that in hot water, and it actually brews the tea leaves and the juice from that, and you can.
I've seen my wife do that. She drinks tea. She drinks tea. Yeah,
a lot of people have been doing that.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's what
that's pretty good.
Tea thing's all about.
Too much. Hey, CNN, get this, TC. CNN has its lowest rated month in more of a decade in April.
Wow, what happened?
They're just crashing and burning. And I have told people that, they got to think outside the box. What CNN ought to do is put you and I on in the morning to do a morning show or whenever they want to put us on. They need to bring in new, fresh talent that's entertaining because they're just crashing and burning. I mean, Pierce Morgan, give me a break.
They need to put it.
This is an opportunity for us, TC. CNN needs help.
Right alongside with Robin Meade.
Bulldog Nation. Hey, you would get the meter.
I like that idea.
When we come back, we're going to tell stories about John Bick. We're going to make them up, of his exploits at Conservatory. That's John Bick from Ropke Automotive. Stop in and he'll tell you a story himself on Real Talk 1160. Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160. Got to promote a few things, some new advertisers. Andy Peters and Green Pros Landscaping. He went to Covington Latin School with me. Trojans forever. And Land, Air, and Sea Military Surplus. on Monmouth Street, South Newport. Land, air, and sea military surplus. It's been a long time since I've been in a military surplus store. I think I'm going to go.
Those are cool places to hang out, too.
And Strong's Brick Oven Pizzeria on Monmouth. Strong's Brick Oven Pizzeria on Monmouth.
Nice.
Ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, the Chris Matthews in Elite Media cracked me up. Chris Matthews references Barack Obama's trip to Afghanistan like Henry V. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, I will guarantee you that the average American doesn't know who the hell Henry V was or is or anything else. It shows the elitism of Chris Matthews and some of his scribes. By the way, for the record, Henry V was a king in England. Guess who he followed? Dr. Kurtzman, this is the $20 million question that I'm going to ask Dr. Kurtzman of Kurtzman Plastic Surgery is this. What king of England did Henry V follow?
How about Henry IV?
Bingo! You got to get up pretty early in the morning to fool Dr. Kurtzman.
There you go. They actually had on Who's Smarter Than a Fifth Grader a couple weeks ago, the $1 million question, who was the longest reigning monarch in British history?
Elizabeth. No, Victoria.
You got it. I
Victoria.
got it right, too.
Victoria.
63 years.
Victoria.
Elizabeth, 60 right now.
Yeah, Victoria. God, I'm glad I corrected myself.
No, Victoria.
You got it. I got it right, too.
I'm
63
I'm
years.
glad I corrected myself quickly. But ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, Henry V succeeded Henry IV, and when he took the throne, England was in turmoil. He had to put down some civil war. And then he decided that he had a rightful, how should I say this, a rightful claim to the French throne. And he actually took invaded France. And he succeeded, and I think the battle was Agincourt. I might not pronounce it, Agincourt or something like that. And Shakespeare wrote the play, and there's a famous scene in the play, and this is a legend has it, that before the battle, they were outnumbered 5-1. Henry V, went amongst his men dressed like an ordinary soldier to find out about his men, and the next day he gave this big speech. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the American jury, Barack Obama's visit to Afghanistan on Air Force One to see our soldiers has got nothing to do with Henry V. I mean, it's incredible. It's almost, but just to even try to make the analogy is just incredible. Dr. Kurtzman, that's the way I feel.
That's why those speech writers get paid, I guess. It is pretty amazing.
Chris, say something witty or wise. You're on Real Talk 1160.
Bulldog, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm just trying to save America.
But I do want to give you a piece of advice. I listened to Glenn. He's eating your lunch 2 days in a row. Get a debate coach, Bulldog.
Eating my lunch? Chris, how is eating my lunch when he says the Republican... Don't talk over me, Chris. See ya. How is eating my lunch when he says the Republican Party is a good old Southern Republican Party, and I point out that the Republican Party, the red states blanket the entire West except California and the whole Midwest? Factually, I took Glenn's argument down.
You can't answer you.
Then Jeremiah Wright. The difference was John McCain didn't talk about the Jeremiah Wright. Everybody else was talking about it. So I used clear facts, and Chris insults me by saying get a debate coach.
I tell you what, the whole point is a moot point, as Jesse would say, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
I think the Republicans forfeited the election in 2008.
They did. They
said,
did.
We don't want to deal with this next 4 years.
John McCain did. And another thing is everything went to hell in a handbasket in October, right before the election, and you've got a sitting Republican president. Not good. There are those that say Abraham Lincoln might have lost 2008. All right, Dr. Kurtzman, what do you think about first of all, you don't mind discussing this. You happen to be of Jewish persuasion, correct?
Yes, I am.
What do you think about the fact that it is 61% to 28%? The Jewish vote is for Barack Obama. His treatment of Israel, his treatment of... I don't get it. Why would a good American Jew be for Barack Obama?
Well, historically, the Jews have considered themselves oppressed, much like the black people. And so they've always gone for the downtrodden. They've always been more liberal. They've been more democratic. But I think we're seeing a shift on that. I think that they're starting to realize that there are some more important things than straight democratic votes. And I see a big shift in the Jewish population. I still say to guys like Glenn and everybody else, show me one person that didn't vote for Obama last time that will vote for him this time. But I see a big shift. I see a lot of...
I've asked that question before, and that's a great point. There isn't anybody in this country, and I've never nobody that said, I didn't vote for Barack Obama last time, but I am this time. You're right. To the contrary, there's lots of people that voted for him that's not.
Which to me is really good for Romney. I think that the Democrats are moving, the Republicans are really moving in the right direction. I'm excited to hear about the vice president, who he's going to pick as his partner. I think that's going to really bring a lot of people in because I think I'm guessing either Rubio or Portman at this point.
I'm telling you right now, he cannot pick Portman. Here's the reason why. It's Bush. Why throw a former Bush official? He served in 2 positions under Bush. Why do you want that in your part of your campaign and just hand them, yep, see, this is just George Bush coming back. This is just George Bush coming back. You can't do that. He needs to pick a fresh person like Rubio.
Because somebody thinks that the Bushes are like the Kennedys.
They wish.
Yeah, they wish. I don't think quite there. But I think the Jewish population historically has been that way, and I think there has been a big shift. And we see a big shift in the current polls showing that the Jewish population is moving more towards the Republican Party.
By the way, Bulldog Nation member Amy sent a picture, and she actually is wearing, Glenn, a Mitt Romney T-shirt today. So how do you like that, saying the women don't like Mitt Romney? Bulldog Nation member Amy has a Mitt Romney shirt, and she was for Newt Gingrich.
Mr. Newt?
But we're rallying around him. Are you upset about Newt suspending his campaign, Dr. Kurtzman?
And then going to announce the final suspension, I guess, 2 days later.
I got.
It's like, what's up with that? It's like you either do or you don't.
I got to ask you a question,
Yes.
Mr. Plastic Surgeon Man.
Talk to me.
Which one of the GOP nominees or the GOP wannabes do you think needs the most plastic surgery?
Well, I think Romney's the best looking one of them all, but
He's a handsome guy.
I don't know that I'm good enough to even help Newt.
A lot of lipo there, baby. A lot of lipo. All right, here's a story from CNBC. 2 Federal Reserve officials warned Tuesday that the U.S., this is like a shocking news, could be heading for a fiscal cliff at year's end if mandated tax increases and spending cuts are implemented. Charles Evans of the Chicago Fed called the cliff a big uncertainty, while Atlanta Fed President Dennis Lockhart said there could be a financial shock if markets begin to anticipate that Congress and the White House do little to address the situation. I can tell you right now, Barack Obama would rather try to win re-election than do anything for us to go off the fiscal cliff. And it's hysterical that he's saying the same thing about the Republicans voting no, 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 when they have passed a balanced budget. I mean, how can you do any better than passing a balanced budget? Yeah.
It's hard to argue the point.
And Paul Ryan tries to address Medicare. But not this president.
No, he puts forth a $1.3 trillion budget deficit. That's just for 1 year.
God, I know. I know. It's such a...
We need a rim shot when he comes in next week, you know?
Did you hear yesterday Congress passed a bunch of... I forget all that they passed, but it's like $18 billion of unfunded stuff. I mean, they're like drunken sailors. I mean, it's just incredible. You know, and it came out, 80 of them are driving around leased cars on taxpayers' dollars. It goes on and on and on. They claim they get the message, but they don't. I mean, it's the same song or dance, and it's why we need a revolution. Throw them all out. Throw them all out. Get rid of them all. Right, TC?
All but 6 and leave them for pallbearers.
Well put.
He's a witty and wise producer, that TC.
Well, I heard our president's even taking credit now for creating jobs overseas.
Oh, my God.
Apparently, he says he's created 11 new jobs in Colombia. For some women there.
Good night,
That's a
folks.
good one.
Dr. Kurtzman will be here all week. 2 shows on Thursday.
I heard Beckel talk about how many jobs lost under Bush and how many jobs gained and all this baloney. And it cracks me up how they claim credit. You know what? They don't create any jobs besides federal employees. All they do is prohibit job creation. Get the hell out of the way. Every business will tell you they want government out of the way. But I have to give it to you. That's a good point. He did create 11 jobs in Columbia. On Real Talk 1160. $800 an hour kind of jobs.
If you're heading into work and you can't listen at work, you can listen to us on your computer. Go to realtalk1160.com, click on Listen Live, and then use your radio tune-in app on your iPhone or Droid. You can listen to podcasts of Bulldog as well. And now back to the Bulldog.
Eric Deters, the Bulldog, on Real Talk 1160. Hey, you got a customer, Dr. Kurtzman. Bulldog Nation member Amy says, tell Doc her husband said I could go see him.
There you go. Come on in.
And she also says, don't say that on the air either. Nobody knows who your last name is.
Since we're not giving that information, should we give the doc's phone number one more time?
Doctor, what's your phone number?
Yeah, it's over in Kenwood at 513-891-4440.
And what is your email address? Because I think those, your website, because those are always easier.
Yeah, KurtzmanPlasticSurgery.com.
KurtzmanPlasticSurgery.com. That's kind of like my website, ericdeters.com. Real hard to remember.
And on your website, do you have you brought in a binder once with some photos? Do you have some of those photos on your website?
Yeah, we have some of those. We have a lot of before and after pictures. We have a lot of information. You go to the website and learn just about everything you need to know about the procedure you're interested in.
That's good.
Bulldog Nation member Ryan says, can Dr. Kurtzman remove Glenn's head from his...
Okay. Anyway, about those Reds, I'll be back in
And
action
Bulldog
now.
Nation member Amy says she's killing me. Dr. Kurtzman, what do you want to talk about today? We usually give you an opportunity to share with the ladies and gentlemen of the American jury something that you do or what you want to highlight. What would you like to highlight today?
And today we're going to let you talk about it.
There you go. Today we just cut a new commercial on tummy tucks and wanted to talk about that. It's springtime, people getting ready for the summer. And with the tummy tuck, what we look at are three components. We look at skin, we look at fat, and we look at muscle. If it's just extra fat, we can do liposuction. However, for people that have lost a lot of weight or after pregnancy, a lot of times there'll be excess skin, there'll be stretch marks, the muscles will be loose. And so then we take care of all three components, which is tighten the skin, suck out some extra fat, and tighten the muscles underneath to give you that washboard abdomen like Bulldog. It's an outpatient procedure. You go home the same day. You have a little drain in there that stays about a week. People are very, very happy with their tummy tuck results. It's very, very dramatic.
You know, they say, little things make a difference. And there's nothing like a taut stomach on a man or a woman.
Indeed. And even with a lot of exercise and working out and weight loss, with pregnancy, things get stretched and just can't return to where you want them to be without surgery.
Well, all I know is that what's your motto, Dr. Kurtzman? If it makes the woman feel better, everybody's happier.
If mom ain't happy, nobody's happy. Isn't that the expression?
That's the expression. And that's an accurate expression. I mean, it really is.
Yes.
Hey, have you seen the new streetcar model, by the way?
I have.
Are you going to ride the streetcar, Dr. Kurtzman? I mean, where do you live? Like your subdivision?
I live in Amberley Village.
Okay, Amberley Village. Are you going to drive from Amberley Village down to Cincinnati and park your car just to ride that streetcar?
Maybe once. Just to say I was there.
You know what? I don't even know. I don't think I could even ride it once just because it's kind of like the principle of it. I just don't want to give them a nickel. TC, you going to ride it?
Oh, yeah. Have to at least once.
Yeah.
I thought you'd be there for the ribbon cutting, Bulldog.
No, I'm not going to be there for the ribbon
We're just
cutting.
going to pour green water on the ribbon. We don't need scissors. So we have one streetcar. Imagine the lines.
I know. There's going to be a lot of lines.
How many cars are there going to be?
I don't know.
I want to get to this story. It's Spirit Airlines refused to refund a guy's money. He's a Vietnam vet. He's battling cancer, and they wouldn't give him his money back when he wanted to cancel a flight. You talk about bad PR. Now he just appeared on national morning show of Fox News. Not good for Spirit Airlines.
Well,
that's called
Show some spirit.
That is called a little small refund causing you a whole heck of a lot more trouble than what it was worth.
Yeah.
Well, they're getting a lot of free PR.
Yeah, bad PR. And I disagree with that statement about any publicity is good publicity. No. Some publicity is bad publicity.
Right.
Like, if you get caught in bed with a live dog, that's bad publicity.
Or a horse's head.
Yeah, a horse's head. Go ahead, TC. You were going to say something?
Now, just this guy with the airlines, for Spirit, maybe, because who are they? I've never heard of them. But for someone like Delta, that's not going to affect them. People are still going to fly Delta.
That's true.
They're going to think that the service is horrible, but if they can get the cheaper deal, they're still going to go that way.
Right. How do you like this story? Because it involves the news. Murdoch. Now, this guy, Rupert Murdoch, rich as can be, owns all these television and all these news. And then somebody does a report and they say he's not fit to run this company. I mean, if I was Rupert Murdoch, I said, who the heck are you to tell me that I'm not qualified to run the company?
Oh, they say all
These
this
Niedermeyers, I'm telling you right now. Can you imagine Dr. Kurtzman if somebody said, you're not qualified to be a plastic surgeon?
Well, all this stuff comes down and they say, this, and this, you did all this stuff. And he said, well, the employees never told me about it. That makes him look like he's not a good leader.
Yeah, but sometimes that happens. They protect the boss. Man, we can't tell the boss about this. He'll get mad at us.
Name one boss in this building you're going to protect.
Hey, I want to tell you.
I'm throwing Jamie Soy under the bus.
I want to tell you right now, this comes up all the time. An example, my office administrator here in my Cincinnati office, okay? I said, well, how are things going? Fine. And I said, well, is there anyone tell me? Well, I didn't want to tell you.
That's because they didn't want you to get upset.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say. I mean, you don't think that people might say, gosh dang, if the old man Murdoch knows out that we're hacking into phones, people aren't going to go bonkers? They're going to go bonkers. I mean, I know for a fact in my own office, sometimes they're afraid to tell me something because I'm going to get mad because they know I'm going to get mad because I deserve to get mad.
Well, you haven't lost your temper yet since you made that New Year's resolution this
year. No,
I
mean, I never get mad anymore. I used to, but not anymore. Dr. Kurtzman, has anybody withheld information in your office before?
I suspect they probably have. Hopefully nothing major.
Hopefully nothing too major.
No, I have a fantastic office staff. I really I'm very blessed with the people that work in my office.
I do too, but sometimes they still keep secrets. Hey, did you find out Gretzky's daughter? Did you have a chance to look online to see if there's any photos worth sharing?
You know what? I don't think there's any worth sharing on the radio.
No, we can't share on the radio anyway.
Hey, on the podcast.
There's this is a story I've been following. It's just kind of humorous to watch the self-destruction of a big law firm. Dewey and LaBeouf. I wonder if it's related to the actor. There's this big law firm that's had a lot of people leave the firm. The latest is, Dr. Kurtzman, is the associates said that their health insurance, they got notice, nobody paid their health insurance bill. And there was discussions to merge with other firms, and now it's not. Can you imagine what it must be like to 1,000-lawyer law firms self-destruct? Those lawyers are jumping off the bridge. Every man for themselves. The clients, well, where are you going? I'm going to go here. No, I don't want to go there. What a disaster. Can you imagine?
Not a good thing. What is that? Dewey and
LaBeouf.
Was that a former Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe? Wasn't that a law firm?
Yes. Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe was one of the most famous law firms. The answer was always yes, and I don't know yet. Good old law firms. I've worked in a big law firm. I was a partner in a big law firm. And Paulina Gretzky, okay. Wayne's, his wife, Wayne's wife, name was Jones.
Janet Jones.
She was an Olympian, and she posed.
She was an actress, too, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was an actress and posed. She was an actress, posed. She was an Olympian, posed. Anyway, speaking, I was a partner in Deters, Benzer, and Lavelle, now DBL Law. And, man, it's just a different atmosphere. I didn't fit in. I've started my own law firm over 10 years ago. But, the law is a challenging business. Challenging business. It was my dad's legacy, the founder of the firm. See, my goal, I got 17 lawyers. My goal is to build a bigger law firm than them from scratch like I'm halfway there. How cool would that be? Ha, 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 ha. Of course, I'm a plaintiff's firm, so we don't get the bill hours. We take chances. We got guts to take risks, TC. Go ahead.
I was saying we put one more shout out for Mr. Newt here.
Yes.
All right.
It's finally over, folks.
It is.
Newt is finally gone. No more Clarissa. No more $500,000 credit lines at Tiffany's.
Maybe
Dr. Kurtzman, what's your credit line at Tiffany's? I shop at Tiffany's, and I go in there, I pay cash. I I have no credit line at Tiffany's. Do you?
What? No, I do not. But usually if you go to Tiffany's a lot, it means you've been bad at home.
Every dog has their day, folks. I hope tomorrow's yours. Thank you, Dr. Kurtzman from Kurtzman Plastic Surgery, for stopping by.